All right, good afternoon, everybody. Appreciate you getting on the call today with Auburn head coach Gus Malzahn. If you everybody do me a quick favor and make sure your phones are muted. And when you are ready to ask a question, then please unmute before you ask your question. Also, if you can identify your name, please, when you ask your question. We'll open it up for Coach to make a few comments and then open it up for questions. Coach?
Okay, thank you, everybody. I hope everybody's safe. We're going through unprecedented times right now. It seems like things are changing daily. I know we were supposed to have a presser before we started spring ball last week. So really my goal today is just kind of give you an update on everything and how we're operating. Just a timeline of the events. I think it was last Thursday that, we told our players that there was no need to come back to campus and to go ahead and return to home from spring break. So we were in the process of getting all that information out to our players. Our staff met Monday
This
briefly.
meeting is being recorded.
Our staff met Monday briefly just to get our plan to work remotely, as our staff, so we could function until we get back. And we were really thinking was long-term in case it lasts a while. Really this week, it's real simple. Our number one goal is the safety and well-being of our players, the safety and well-being of our coaches and their families. We've been in constant contact, our coaches have, with our players this week, making sure that they're safe, making sure that they're set up remotely to be able to start their classes and everything, that goes with that. Currently, all our players are healthy. We've given them all the information on the symptoms of the virus, and we've asked them to communicate with Dr. Goodlett, if there's any issues that come up with that. And, of course, we've educated them in the social distancing and how to operate, clean their hands and everything that goes with that. Really like to thank our leadership, Dr. Googe, Alan Green, Commissioner Sankey. In those trying times right now, I think they've done an excellent job. And really, I think my goal is try to give you all a weekly update on how we're operating with everything changing. So with that being said, I'd like to open up with any questions.
Yeah, Coach, this is Simone Eli, CBS 42 in Birmingham. Just curious in regards to working out, spring practice, obviously that's not happening. What's your communication with players when it comes to staying in shape, workouts, or stuff that they're doing individually while they're at home?
Yeah, really, as far as that is, the number one thing is the safety and well-being of our players during these times that, with the way things are changing. So really that's what we told them. During spring break, they had some little things they could do, but this week it's all been about just health and safety. We put the football on the back burner and just making sure that they're safe and protected.
Gus, this is Brandon Marcello. I was just wondering, when you move past this week and obviously everybody's scattered as far as players, I'm sure you're thinking about how to put together a workout plan for these kids to stay in shape and all that, just like you do with, freshmen who aren't on campus. What kind of protocols are you allowed to follow with that, and to also make sure that maybe players have access to weight rooms and everything during this time?
Yeah, right now, Brandon, honestly, it's just we're taking it week by week. We'll get to that point after we get through this week. Obviously we'll have staff meetings, it's Friday and Monday of each week, and we'll talk through those things. And at the right time, we'll be prepared to move forward with that. But, right now that with the social distancing and everything, weight rooms aren't where you're supposed to be. So really, each week we will, come up with different plans that are appropriate at the appropriate time.
Coach, this is Andy Burcham. What kind of communication do you and your staff have with the players right now?
Well, we've got, I believe I've talked to, I think, every player this week, myself individually. I know that our offensive and defensive coordinators have communicated with both sides of the football, and then their position coaches communicated on a daily basis with our guys, which we think is real important. especially with the way things are changing. And it seems like every day there's something new, and we just want to make sure that our guys are communicated with and taken care of, as we get through this.
Gus, this is JG at Auburn Sports. Tell me about how this affects recruiting, just how you guys go about trying to identify the kids you want to recruit and making them offers, and how you can even do that when you can't really see them play.
Yeah, the technology piece, is really good. So, each coach has from home their own, laptop and can watch any video. There's great communication. We have great leadership. Our coordinators and Coach Travis Williams, our recruiting coordinator, they're doing a great job as far as making sure that we don't get behind and working from home in the communication that they have. And, right now there's, you got the ability to communicate, with recruits, and I'm sure other staffs are doing that throughout the country because most of the kids aren't in school now anyway.
Gus, this is Brandon again. Has Christy gone nuts with you in the house so much? How's that been?
Yeah, it's pretty good, Brandon, by asking that question. So yeah, it's I think probably everybody is kind of getting used to the new ways of doing things from the house, and it could be, like I said, I think we got to be prepared. This could be a while.
Gus, this is Jason Caldwell. You mentioned about kind of the recruiting side of things and having technology. How much does that help when you're talking about having a new offensive coordinator, new offensive line coach, trying to get those guys at least a familiarity with things, knowing that you may not have any practices for quite a while?
Yeah, we're prepared for that when it is time to, as far as the football goes and the installs and all that, we're definitely prepared to do that, online and away from the place. But like I said, this week and until it's the proper time is just going to be focused on the health and safety of our players.
Coach, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Gus, this is Tom Green at AL.com. Given Commissioner Sankey hasn't really ruled out spring practices maybe being pushed later in the summer if things work out, do you have any hopes of still having spring practice down the line?
Green, AL.com.
Yeah, I think everybody around the country would say they're definitely hoping that there'll be some type of things like that. But we'll be prepared in any way, no matter what happens. I think you have to be prepared for everything at this point. But we're definitely hopeful. So we'll see what happens.
Gus, this is Steve Moulton from WZZN in Huntsville. Appreciate you doing this for us. But in terms of those spring practices, do you think there might be a deadline day-wise that you could really get in what you need to get in this spring?
Yeah, Steve, I think that's a hard question to answer right now because, as of right now, I think, what is it, April 15th?
The second line is dialed.
Can y'all hear? I hear some kind of feedback, but as of right now, the April 15th. But we'll see, and we have to be prepared, to adjust as we go. And I know Commissioner Sankey will keep us updated.
Coach Simone again. Are you pretty much doing all football at home right now? Or are you taking time to any Netflix, anything you would suggest, or any fun activities you're doing at home?
Really right now, it's been more about communicating with our players, communicating amongst our coaches, just to make sure that this first week we're organized, we're efficient. Technology-wise, we've got everything set up, not just for staff meetings, but, eventually for player meetings when the appropriate time is set up. So really it's been more about that this first week.
Gus, this is Brandon again.
Hi, Gus. Hello?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Hi, Gus. This is Gianna from AL.com. So some of your signees were relying on their school gyms to fulfill the workouts that you guys sent them. Are you guys going to be trying to find a way for them to complete workouts without having access to their schools right now?
Yeah, I think that's something after we get through this first week. Like I said, that the number one thing is the health and safety of our players, and the social distancing right now is very important. To keep everyone healthy. So when the appropriate time comes, we'll get the appropriate strategy as far as working out and everything right now. But we're encouraging our players to, use social distancing and not be around other people.
Gus, so when it comes to discussing practice and everything, obviously with preseason camp in August, and I mean, everything is up in the air. We all know that. But would you be okay if, say, schools come together, NCAA says, hey, we're going to allow you a certain period of time, maybe in June or July, to have maybe a shortened period of practices before going into August? Or is that too close to that? Is there too many issues with that, the heat and everything? Or what are your thoughts on that? And what would you like to see happen, I guess?
Yeah, Brandon, I don't know the answer to that right now. I think once we get through this initial phase, where things don't keep changing every day and we get back to some normalcy, I think we'll have the ability to have all those discussions. I think everything's on the table right now, but it's hard to answer that, at this moment.
Yeah, I understand. I know at Pro Day, March 6th, you said on the first day of spring practice, you'd give us an update on support staff and everything. Could you provide that to us now?
Yeah, I tell you what I'll do, Brandon. I will get Kirk to get something out to you as soon as we get off this call. I don't have my notes in front of me, and there was quite a few changes, and I just want to make sure I'm accurate. So as soon as we get off, I'll get that to y'all.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hey, Gus, Brian Matthews. How are you doing?
Hey, Brian.
Hey, quick question. Are your academic counselors able to work with your players remotely? And also, how concerned are you about the players being in such a structured environment where they're at school and then now having to do everything at home?
Yeah, that's a great point, and that's really one of our goals this week when our coaches are communicating with our players, to make sure that they have their iPads with them, make sure they have the proper communication with the professors, the proper communication with our academic support, which they have been in contact with them. And this first week has been more about making sure that, we'll have the ability to operate efficiently after this first week, because there's going to be some glitches. We've already ran into a few, but by the end of the week, we're hopeful to have all those lined out and our guys be prepared to, finish their academics strong.
Thanks, Gus.
Thank you.
Coach, Steve Moulton again. I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
Christina Chambers with Fox 6. Coach, how are you feeling, and have you been tested for COVID-19?
No, I've not been tested. I feel fine. Me and Christy both feel fine. We're at home, and as far as I know, our coaches are feeling fine too.
Coach, Steve Moulton again. I'm curious from your standpoint, timeline for spring. I know it's normally a little over a month, but to get in what you need to get in, what could you jam in a limited amount of time if you're given a limited amount of time? What would be the minimum number of days that you'd feel comfortable with?
Yeah, Steve, that's kind of hard for me to answer right now. I think if we could fast forward a week or two, we'll have better ideas. I mean, common sense. You want as many as you can. You want the 15, but we'll just see where that leads us. And it, like I said, it's hard to answer that question right now.
Thank you, Coach.
Gus, it's Justin Ferguson. If you guys, knowing that everything's kind of up in the air at this point, how valuable would it be if you guys would be able to get anything hypothetically before fall camp? I mean, what is kind of you're missing out on right now from a player and a coach perspective?
Yeah, I think common sense. You'd like to be able to have spring ball, but like I said, I know I sound like a broken record, but I think it's best right now just to focus on the health and safety of our players, getting through the next couple of weeks or whatever goes with that. And, but like I said, common sense for every football coach in America is going to be as many practices as they can get before they start, a season. But like I said, I just don't think that's probably the appropriate time right now to get into all that.
Understand.
Coach Bill Cameron, what type of things can coaches be going over with their position players? I mean, I know obviously it'd be spring ball right now and there are limitations in the off season, but what specific type workouts can the coaches do with their individual players?
Well, as of right now, it's just more about checking on them, making sure their academics, and you can give them a workout or something like that. But as far as the X's and O's, there'll be a time that'll be appropriate. But right now, it's it's about their health and well-being and their safety.
Sure, thanks.
Gus, this is Brandon again. I had two questions real quick. One completely unrelated. Cam Newton is up for trade right now in the NFL and could potentially land somewhere. Just your thoughts on Cam. Have you talked to him, and what do you think the future holds for him?
I've not been able to talk to him. I did see yesterday that he sent a statement out. Cam Newton's one of the best, football players I think's ever played the game. So I know that he'll land on his feet, and I know he's got some good years left in him.
Is there anything? All right. Appreciate everybody dialing in today, and we'll continue to update you moving forward. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email or reach out on the phone. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all. Be safe, everyone.